Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. In this video we will create a mini project in Python which is calculator. So let's begin. So I will start first by showing the sample output of this program first. When I will hit this play button from here, you will be able to see this menu. So the user need to pick the operation from this menu. For example, the user picks 4, which is divide. Then the user need to enter the first number and then the second number. After that, the user will be able to see the result. And similar to divide operation, the user will be able to do the add, subtract and multiply operation as well. Now let's create a new file in the Visual Studio Code. So I'm going to create a new file from here and I'm going to type the name calculator.py and then I will hit the enter button. Also, I'm going to pin the flowchart of this program here on the right side of the screen. I will follow this flowchart in order to create this calculator app. Okay, so first thing that we need to do is to show the menu to the user, and in order to display we use the print function. And since our calculator app is basically doing 4 operations, first is going to be add, second is going to be subtract, third is going to be multiply, and 4 is going to be divide. Okay, so if I run this program, we should be able to see these 4 operations printed here. Okay, so according to flowchart as well, we are done with our first section, which is show menu, and it is a good practice to write the comments on top of each section. So I have written operation menu on top of our first section. And now moving on to the next section, which is asking the user to choose the operation. We are done with writing the comment and now we have to ask the user to pick the operation. So I am writing here a variable operation and then I will ask the user to pick the operation. For that I am writing here input and then inside of these brackets I am writing pick operations, and since these are integer numbers, so I am writing here int. And now I will run this program to check the output, and as you can see it is asking me to pick the operation, and if I randomly pick any number from here, the program will end. Okay, so it is working fine. Now there should be an empty space between the menu and the user input, so I'm writing here an empty string, and as you can see now we are able to see an empty space. And also operation variable is a longer one, so I am just writing op as the variable. And now moving on to the next step, which is to verify if the user has entered the correct operation. For that we will be using the if block. As we know that our program is basically doing 4 operations: add, subtract, multiply and divide. So we have to verify that if the user has entered 1, 2, 3 or 4, only in that condition the user should be allowed to enter the first and the second number. And since the user can enter any floating point value, for example 1.2, 1.5, so I have written here a is equal to float input, and the first number that user will write will be assigned to a variable. And since we need another variable which is going to be b variable, okay, so second number that user will be entering will be assigned to b variable. And again I'm going to write here the comment for this section as well, and that is check if the chosen entry is correct. If the entry is correct, the user will be able to enter the first and the second number, else it will be displayed to the user that the entry is incorrect. Now let's verify it. If I enter the incorrect value, for example 5, it will be shown to the user that the entry is incorrect, because we have defined in our if block that the user can enter 1, 2, 3 and 4 operation and not 5 or any other operation. And if I enter the correct operation value, then the user will be enabled to enter the first and the second number. And now moving on to the next section, which is to perform selected operation. For example, if the user has entered 1 for the operation, then add operation needed to be performed. Okay, so if the operation is equal to 1, for that I am writing op equal 1, then the result should be a plus b. And remember, a and b are the numbers which user has entered, and the result is a variable which will contain the result of this addition operation. And since we have to show this result to the user, so I'm writing here print result, and I'm using here the f string, and in between these curly brackets I am writing here the variables a plus b is equal to result. And if I run this program, and for example if the user has entered 1 for the operation, and after that the user will be entering two values and the result will be displayed to the user, which is working fine. And again there should be a space in order to correctly see the result. So I will run the program again in order to test that, and if the user entered these two values, this result will be displayed with the correct formatting as well. And we are done with the add operation, and now moving on to the subtract operation. So I am writing here a comment: if the user picks 2, then it should subtract. So I'm going to basically copy the above section for the addition, and I'm going to change the values. The operation should be 2 and result should be a minus b. And if I run this program and if I pick the second operation, then it should subtract, and it is doing the right thing. And now I'm basically copying the same thing and going to paste the same here, and will change the value for multiply and divide, which are basically the operation number 3 and operation number 4. So for multiply I'm going to add here the static, and for divide I'm going to add here the division operator. And if I run this program in order to verify the results, basically they are working correctly. So that's all for this tutorial guys, in which we have made this mini project in Python, which is simple calculator. If you find this video helpful, then please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.